Welcome to a brand new edition of It's All Relative. I'm Josh, and today I'm joined by a local rock star who's coming to talk about his musical talents, bands that he's involved with, an exciting upcoming show that he's playing in, and an injury that caused him to lose a body part. You guys don't want to miss these stories and this episode, so you already know what to do. Turn it up and let's get it rolling with an all-new episode right here on the It's All Relative podcast. Joining me today, a familiar voice to the show. Let's welcome back Angela Galente.
Thanks. Good to be back.
Yeah, how have you been since the last time you were here?
I've been good. Very good.
Nice. Anything new that you want to share with the listeners or the world?
Not really. I've been working on a project with my kids, 2 Cent project. So be on the lookout to hear about that soon.
Nice. You want to explain what that is a little more?
Yeah. So the children, my children, are 9 and 11, and they are doing a project where they get advice from all over America, all over the world. They have a goal of hopefully 1 million people to send in advice, appropriate advice for a 9 and 11-year-old on anything in life. And with that advice, tape 2 pennies to the paper and mail it to Post Office Box 1234, Millbrook, New York, 12545. And they have a YouTube video going out soon, and they're going to be tracking where the advice comes from, and on their YouTube channel, they'll be reading the advice as well. And a bunch of other stuff, but
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Well, good luck with that. Also, today we were surprised with a little snow. So, like I mentioned before, thank you for risking your life.
No problem.
To make the show. But all right, let's get our guest on. An OG, a legend to me in my life, coming to share some life experiences and drop a little wisdom, making his first appearance on It's All Relative. Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Mccaffrey.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
What's up, man? Thank you for agreeing to come on It's All Relative.
My pleasure.
Yeah, I appreciate you giving us some of your time, my man. But let's get right into it. Brian, music's been a huge part of your life from an early age.
From an early age, yeah. Like, I'm from an Irish family. I had an uncle who played guitar and sang, and I was like, yeah, I like doing that. And, I played trombone when I was in grade school. Got my first guitar around like 12, I'm going to say 12, 13. And played through my teens, played in high school at the Head Hall at John Jay, for those of you who remember. And but it wasn't until I went to college that I really got, caught up in the biz of it and increased my chops as a musician. And then when I came back from that, that's where I am today.
That's awesome. Well, then let me ask you, were you self-taught? Or did you take lessons with any of these?
The trombone was through my school. So that, I learned rudimentary reading of music and tapping my foot to the time and all that. But other than that, I have no training at all.
Okay, right on.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Present day then, let me ask you, is there a particular musician or band that has influenced you?
Currently, I'm really into this guy, Billy Strings.
Okay.
And in influencing my playing for the first time in a while. I'm pretty set in my ways at this point, but this is like the first time in a while that I've been into somebody where it's like I'm trying to cop his licks.
Right on. Angela, let me ask you real quick then. Are there any bands or musicians that have had an effect on you in your lifetime or during your lifetime?
Well, Pink Floyd always, when I was growing up, that was always my go-to.
Okay.
But I like a lot of different types of music, so depending on how I'm feeling, that's what I go to.
Right on. You wanna name a few other because you said that there was, I mean, your music spectrum was broad, right?
Oh,
you want to name a few more?
I like a lot of reggae.
Okay.
I like the Grateful Dead.
Right on.
I like the Dead.
I like dance music because I like to dance, so it has to have a beat.
How do you feel
So-
about the Stones?
Love the Stones.
There you go.
I like Pink Floyd, like all the old classic rock and
Right on.
country. Not really my thing.
Right on. Mine either.
And like a lot of like heavy rap. I'm not really into, but everything else I'm pretty. But reggae is usually my go-to.
Cool. All right. Brian,
Yes, sir.
what is it about playing music that makes you love it?
I don't know, but I definitely do.
Okay.
There's different aspects of it. Like there's the part of being in front of an audience. I love that. Really get off on being in front of an audience. I like to entertain. But I also like I sit when I'm at my house and I'm sitting and watching TV. I'm like absentmindedly playing guitar the whole time. I just it relaxes me, I guess.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't
Yeah.
mean to cut you off, but
Yeah.
that's funny. I have had other musicians on, and I have had a guitarist on from a band. Shout out Robert Mahoney and the band Rubik's. But he did mention he's a big guitar player, and I guess maybe it's a thing that guitar players do is that when, as you were just saying, like in your leisure time, just kicking back, but you're always strumming on the guitar. Doing
Yep,
stuff
I play along to commercials, and actually there's a lot of times where I'll be watching TV and a commercial come on and they'll be using an old song and I'm like, oh, that's a great old song, and 2 weeks later it's in the act, So that's actually happened quite a few times.
Nice. So the guitar is one spot where you shine, but you're also a vocalist and you play the harmonica.
I'm a singer,
Yeah.
and I can blow a mean harp. I wear a harness as I'm playing, and I can play harmonica and sing and guitar at the same time.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, I mean, talk to us. How'd you learn and get into playing the harmonica? Because that's very nowadays. I don't know too many. Actually, I'm quite curious. I wonder if the younger generation is still familiar. Or know what
when I
harmonica
was
is.
in college in the middle '80s, up in Buffalo, I kind of drifted away from college and into the music biz, and I was working for this band called George Duran and Winterwood. And he's still around. He's gotten up there in age, but he's in the Buffalo Music Hall of Fame. You can check him out on the YouTube or whatever. And but he played guitar with the harness and did like Dylan and Neil Young and stuff like that. But he was just one guy, and I seen him mesmerize an entire bar packed with 200-300 people, and I don't know, just the harmonica. I was also into the way Steven Tyler and early Aerosmith played harmonica. So I always played the harmonica. I always had one. And I would play. But then when I saw how you really did it, you had one for every key, and it just came natural to me. I just could blow and suck at the same time as I'm strumming up and down.
Right on. Angela, you familiar with harmonicas?
I mean, my father used to play like randomly. He wasn't professional or anything, but I do know about harmonicas. I know what they are, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, I mean, have
Can
you
I
ever
play one?
yeah.
No.
Okay, I was going to ask you, have you ever played one? Because
I've played one, but I'm not I don't know how to play one.
right. I'm the same way.
I
don't,
have like two in my house right now.
Okay, right on. Yeah, I don't.
The kids get them.
I don't know how to play one either. But my father had one too. And that's why I was.
My dad, he had the harmonica, he had an accordion, and he played the guitar every
Accordions are
day.
cool. That's one thing I don't play.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had one. That's why that's the only reason.
No, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Instrument.
So Brian, talk to us. What's your thought process when you're performing a song live in front of an audience?
Don't fuck up.
But you have to play the guitar, the harmonica, and sing the lyrics to a song. So, like, talk to us. Like, how do you do all that without losing focus? Or, I mean,
So the thing I have to probably, of the three that like remembering all the words,
right,
is, and that's another thing I've been gifted with a mind. Lyrics get stuck in my head. Like if I write them down once, I don't need that paper anymore. The act of writing it down has locked it in my head, especially if it's songs that I like. So the guitar part. The guitar part at this point, it's more muscle memory. Like I'm not really thinking about that much. My hands are just doing the work. I'm struggling to remember the lyrics. Mm-hmm. And the harmonica, you know, you got to know where they are in the song, and then it's a matter of I use my tongue, but to find where I am, like to count, because like a lot of times it starts on like the 6th read up, and you got to like find it in the dark. So I like use my tongue to find it, and then so that. But you know, there's not a thought process. You know, I practice a lot.
Nice, and then just go with it, right?
Yeah.
And whatever happens, happens.
The trick is to practice it so much that you don't have to think about it, you know. And until I get a song to that point, I really don't put it into the rotation, you know.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Now you're part of a group or band called the Mccaffrey Brothers.
With my bro, yep.
Yes. Talk to us about that.
So me and my brother John, he's been playing guitar as long as I've been playing guitar, and we've been, you know, hitting. You know, we'd go into the woods with the campfires and the keggers, and we would bring guitars, and so we've been playing together all our lives. And through the years, we've been in different bands together. He played bass for a band that I was in called Stewed for a while, and then a few years back, maybe 6, 7, 8 years ago at this point, I'm not really sure. You know, I started thinking about my old buddy George Duran from Buffalo, and I was like, I'm going to start playing out, you know, where I can, you know. So I got, you know, my 30 songs together, and it was mostly me. And then, you know, it's a lot easier having one more person.
Right.
You know, or 5 more people, but,
right.
You know, just one more person, you know, you can do a lot more. So I started having my brother come, and we became the Mccaffrey Brothers, and you know, we've been plugging away. We got a pretty solid act together now, and you know, we've definitely solid 6, 7 years going at it. You know,
that's awesome. You guys do have videos that are on social media and whatnot. I've seen many videos of shows at different local venues.
We're playing the bars. We're small. Yeah.
For now.
Yeah.
For now. Okay, so one question that I often ask other musicians when they're on, can you talk to us about one of your most memorable performances, and if so, why?
Let's see. Through the years, or with current, like, you know, with what's my, let's see. It's hard to say, man. It's hard to say.
Or a good one that that you can recall or comes to mind.
Well, I played a local festival not too long ago with my other project that I have that we're going to talk about. But I, with John, the Mccaffrey Brothers, we've done so many at this point, and I don't know what's the best one we ever did. You know, we have a lot of venues that we play at all the time, so we're real comfortable there. Can I say the local?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we play at this one local joint, Monkey McGee's. You know, and it's a great little dive bar, right, located in Red Oaks Mill, and we've been playing there the first Friday of every month for like 5 or 6 years now. And we're very comfortable there.
Nice.
So that's where we, like, if we're trying to bring a new song into the rotation, or, you know, or somebody requests something and we decide we're going to pull it out of our ass, you know, that's where we're very comfortable letting that happen there.
Right.
You know, there's not so much pressure to like, oh, we never played this place before, we want to get back, you know, so we got to be perfect, you know. So, like, we don't care if we're perfect or not there. I also have some bandmates coming in from my other project, kind of having the Mccaffrey Brothers band now going, which is it's very exciting. That's too. You know, my brother John he wanted to be pure and be the Mccaffrey Brothers. But then after a couple of times having a drummer and a bass player, and
See the difference.
it's if two people can do more than one, well, four people can do more than two.
Sounds a little better.
Yeah. So it's exciting. I'm in. It's a solid thing that we've been, me and my brother. I love. There's nobody I'd rather play music with than my brother.
That's awesome.
We got a definitely got a connection. But I still like to keep it progressing.
Go ahead.
Are all of your songs covers, or do you have originals as well?
We have a few originals,
Nice.
but mostly covers. Yeah, mostly covers. I can write music for songs prolifically. I have so many, but I am not a lyricist. I can't write lyrics. Every once in a while, so when I say every once in a while, I mean like maybe 10 times in my entire career, I've had some lyrics come to me and I've got those songs. But other than that, I am not a great songwriter. My brother the same. I would say the same. He has a few songs that are, but it's not really our focus. We both got day jobs. So it's not like we're trying to, get that one hit to Nashville and make it big. He's about to retire from the post office. And I'll be pulling wire till I die. But but I'll never stop doing music.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Give me a name. What's one of the go-to songs then for the Mccaffrey Brothers?
Oh, there's quite a few. So there's a song by the Rolling Stones called "Dead Flowers." All right, we call it the sound check song. We start every show with that song mainly because it's easy and it has like everything that we need to check. It's got some singing in it, and we both has harmonizing in it. So and it's very easy not to screw up, and it's very easy to for me to walk out in front because I don't have a sound man half the time. Walk out in front and check the sound, see what's good. That's that one, and then at the end we always do. Usually in a row, too. We do Like a Rolling Stone, which my brother sings, and I play a lot of harmonica on. And then we usually end every show with American Pie, because it's easy to get drunk people to sing along to that one.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd totally be singing along.
Yeah, that's, And that's our aim, is to get drunk people. That's, one of the aims. One, get the ladies dancing, get the drunk guys singing along.
Right on. Always end with a banger.
These
too,
ladies
right?
be singing and dancing.
Nice.
And usually, when by the time at the end of the night, and I do American Pie, it's like what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 6, 7 verses. It's a lot. It's a lot, and I'm done by that time. I'm done.
I bet.
Yeah.
All right, so those are some good memories. Talk to us now about one of your worst performances and why.
I got a couple of them. Okay, and they all involve cocaine. So there's been a couple of shows where I've actually bailed because I couldn't. It was the day I ended up doing stupid shit, staying up all night the night before a show, and just we had a show at Riverfest down in Poughkeepsie, and I passed out under the stage
Before the show?
I did like 3-4 songs of the show. We were the first band up, and it was like in the blazing sun, and I right in the middle of it all, I put my guitar on, I was like, guys, I gotta go, and I walked under the stage and I passed out, and I had a couple of friends who were like former Army medics, and they forced me to go to the hospital. So that was my worst show.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wait, so
But I actually did play. I played like 2 or 3 songs. I don't remember any of it. Yeah.
So that's crazy. Let me ask you. So you passed out under the stage, like where they're playing the music and
Above,
you're
yes, because it was the only place out of the sun. It was the only place out of the sun. I got like 3 cold waters and like put them around my head and just passed out in the dark. And then, but people wouldn't leave me the fuck alone. They're like, Brian, what? Are you okay? You got to. I'm like, I don't have to go to the hospital. Just leave me here. I'll be fine. And but no, I ended up at the hospital. I ended up in the hospital.
Was it a good choice to go to the hospital?
It ended up being that they wanted to check out. So they said I had some kind of hole in my heart or kind of thing going on. But in as long as I don't stay up all night doing cocaine, I think I'm fine, you know. And so I've been trying to avoid that.
Right on.
Yeah. Sometimes successfully, sometimes not successfully. But
it happens.
It happens.
Yeah.
Yep.
And some you lose some.
That's right. You got any other bad performances that you can recall?
No, usually I'm great.
That's awesome, my man.
Yeah.
I love the confidence.
Yeah. That's part of it, and that's definitely part of it. You know, is if you're going to be playing out in front of people on the regular, you will develop a confidence over time. If you keep doing it, it just you know. I enjoy, but there is definitely an aspect of it now that it's almost like a job. It is a job, you know. It's work. You know, there was, you know, we're going to talk about my injury coming up. I know you said, you know, being able to play gigs on the weekends, you know, sitting in a chair with my leg in a cast, I could still play, you know, and make money, make a couple, you know, I mean, you know, I ain't retiring, but I can, you know, had pocket money, you know, some form of income. Yeah.
Right on. I'm trying to think real quick because there was something that I wanted to ask you, but I can't recall right now. We'll hit that if I can remember. Yeah. We'll hit that. But we're gonna take a quick break.
Sure.
Angela, any other questions for Brian?
Not at this time. Just
I'm an open book.
Yeah. This is some fun stories. I like that.
Got a million of them.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll continue to hear from Brian as he'll talk to us about an upcoming show that his other band he's involved with will be playing. And we'll also hear about an injury that he was confronted with and how he's been able to withstand the fight thus far. You guys don't want to miss it. So make sure you come back with us right here on the It's All Relative podcast.
In the game now, shit's the same now. Explode next mode, I'm the same how. Don't say you know me, just say you did. When you see me sliding off to another crib. Boom, in the game now, I'm the same how. The rap game will never be the same now. Don't say you know me, just say you did. When you hear Y.O, say that's that shit.
Welcome back to It's All Relative. Still with me in studio, Angela Galente.
Hey.
And Brian Mccaffrey.
Yep.
All right. So, Brian, you are an entertainer. You love being in front of an audience. But let me ask you real quick. Do you still get nervous before shows?
No.
Never?
No.
Have you ever? In the beginning?
In the very, 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 like, yeah. In the very, very beginning. But, not as like the Mccaffrey, but when I say very beginning, I mean like when I was like in my 20s, you know, and I was up in Buffalo and I was, you know, I barely knew what I was doing, and I played out a couple of times up there, and I was nervous. But then this time around, I started this like I was already in my 40s. I like it. I crave it. I like it. I don't get nervous at all, and I go, like I said, I don't let a song in the rotation unless I, you know, pretty know it.
I'm confident.
So yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I'm
born to be on
yeah,
stage.
I don't like. I got a pretty big show coming up, and it's playing on a stage that I've always wanted to play, but I've never had the pleasure. And I've seen some very famous people play on this stage, and it's kind of, you know, I'm a little, you know.
Yeah, we're gonna get more in depth in that shortly, But actually, let's shift gears. Let's talk about the band that you're involved with currently. They're called 50 Amp Fuse. You want to talk to us about the origin of the name, your role in the band?
Okay, well, 50 Amp Fuse is it's a line from the Rolling Stones song "Can't Always Get What You Want," and you know, we tossed around a couple of names before we arrived on that one. Yeah, and we're a Rolling Stones tribute. Not so much a tribute. We're playing their music. We're not trying to look like them. It's exciting. And in this band, I am the bass player and you know, a backup singer. So it's a different perspective for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, mention you. We had said your role in the Mccaffrey Brothers. You are a guitar player. singer and and harmonica player.
Yeah, and a lead vocalist. In that band, I'm a lead vocalist. This one, I'm only a backup vocal.
So, but you're also the bass player, which is completely different than the normal guitar. You want to, well, first let me ask you, self-taught in that as well?
Oh yeah, and you know, only recently. This is my first real bass gig.
Nice.
You know, so I basically overnight became a bass player, but I've been playing lead guitar, you know, all my life. So it's not a big jump going from one to the other. You know, I'm not saying I didn't hit some bumps in the road, but you know, I'm finding my way.
Right, no doubt. What's the biggest difference that you've noticed or experienced?
Well, so when I'm in the Mccaffrey Brothers, I'm like out front and I'm playing, you know, I got a lot going on. So it's hard for me to like get lost in the moment. I'm kind of, you know, I got a lot going on. And whereas in the playing bass in this band, and it's a bunch of other musicians in the band, and you know, everyone's talented cat, and I can lay back, you know, and the bass, it's not, especially playing Rolling Stones bass, Bill Wyman, you know, he's not very complicated. Mm-hmm. He's driving force in the background, but it's not, you know, you don't have to be, you know, like Flea, you know.
Yeah.
So
shout out Chili Peppers.
Yeah, so it's been, you know, it's coming up, you know, about our first show was that Mazstock Festival, which was in August. So I've been with them since then, but we've progressed very far. It's good. It's a force, man. It's a force.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Now, talk to me about the difference, though, between playing the two different it's of guitars, because you're so used to playing the guitar.
Well, the bass is much heavier.
Heavier?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. That's one thing I noticed. But it's you have to, like, as a lead guitar player, jump into the bass. You got to, like, reel yourself in. You got to dial it back. You know, you can't be like throwing 50 notes in there, because that's, you know, that's what the guitar's doing. You know, mm-hmm. you're trying to lock up with the drummer. You know, mm-hmm. trying to lock up with that snare. You're trying to lock up with that kick, and you know, Mike Robinson, the drummer in this 50 amp Fuse band, he's easy to lock in with. He's good.
That's awesome.
And then we also got. We got Mark Van Art playing keyboards. We got Mike Charter. He kind of put it together. He's like doing the Mick Jagger part. We got Mikey LaFalce playing guitar, and we got this guy, Steve Brybag, on guitar. He's like infused some Keith Richards blood in him or something, man, because this kid's got the licks down. It sounds like, when we're going, we sound like the Stones. And then we got Nancy and Robin. We got two girls singing backup, which the Stones had. And then we got, like, I wouldn't say we have it all the time, but we have had it a couple of times. And our aim is to have, you know, a horn section. And playing with the horns is a whole other ball game. It's so cool when you have that much, you know, that wall of sound coming, and like I'm sitting in the, you know, playing bass in the back, my foot up on the drum riser, and I'm like, that sounds like the album, man. You know, look around like, yeah, this sounds like the album. But so that's what we're bringing, and I can drop the date or.
Yeah, I mean, definitely.
Maybe.
We'll actually we'll hit that for sure.
All right.
But let me ask you then real quick though. What do you personally enjoy playing the most? You like the bass guitar gig, or you like the normal guitar? Man,
I'm happy to be making music either way.
Awesome.
But you know, I like the Mccaffrey Brothers gig. That's my brother. That's right, right. I'm always going to be that.
It's all love.
Still continuing.
Yeah. But I'm still very excited about this other project. It's been a while since I had another project.
Yeah, so let's talk about this upcoming show that's been scheduled. Let's get some buzz around it. Talk to us. When is the show? Give me the date.
It is Saturday, May 13th at The Chance in Poughkeepsie.
Yes, which we will talk about, a local historic spot. Where can people get tickets at?
I got tickets.
Right.
and probably at the chance, I'm not really,
Right.
I know, like, a bunch of us have tickets,
Right.
Guys in the band, but I guess call the chance,
Call the venue.
call
Nice.
the venue, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I know you used to be able to get them at the door.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was.
I'm sure you
changed
will
through
be.
COVID.
I'm sure you will be at that night. You'll be able to get them at the door. And there's also we're the opening act for a Rush tribute band, Limelight, and those guys they're good. They're real good.
Right on. So yeah, I was just going to ask you, but I mean, you pretty much answered it. I was going to say, what should people expect at this event?
So we're a Rolling Stones tribute band. We're doing almost exclusively the period of Mick Taylor, which is like the Sticky Fingers, the Exile on Main Street. It's a bunch of really cool songs, man, and they're not the songs that that you see played out a lot. These we're doing some deep cut, and it sounds good, man. It sounds good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little about this venue, because I mean, it is a local historic spot. The Chance. You've all been there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Many
for sure.
times, yeah.
I've seen. Man, I saw the Ramones there. I saw Greg Allman there. I saw Roy Buchanan there. I saw so many people that aren't even alive anymore there.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
So then, let me ask you then real quick. I mean, or let me state real quick. It's an achievement, right? Then to be able to
for myself, yeah, it's someplace I always wanted to play, and
Right.
and I have a lot of friends who've played there, and I just never happened to me in my career, and so this is gonna be my first time up on that stage. I'm pretty psyched about it.
That's
Exciting.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy for you, man.
But I won't be nervous.
No.
I'm cool with it. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I mean, when local listeners hear the name of the venue, I guarantee that their mind's going to be filled with certain memories and emotions, because it's a place that so many have been to see all different types of shows. I mentioned earlier that I've had other musicians on the show before. Shout out to YO. Shout out Prince Ascari, and I mentioned earlier, but shout out to Robert Mahoney and the band Rubik's. But they too have all put on shows at the Chance. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty cool, for me, knowing all of you, my people that I know that are musicians, that all of you guys have done or about to do your thing.
It's
on
like
the
I
stages.
consider it like the pinnacle of like local, Dutchess
Absolutely.
County stages. It's
Absolutely. Like you mentioned, there have been some fucking famous people who have put on shows there. I've seen a lot of good bands back in the day as well. You know what I'm saying? It's a historic spot.
was the Vaudeville Theater originally.
Really?
I believe. Yeah. It's been around that long.
All right. So let me ask you then real quick, Brian, though. What are some of the emotions that you feel when thinking about yourself being in front of the crowd at the Chance?
Well, in the moment, I'm usually in the mindset of don't fuck up. So I'm pretty my mind doesn't really wander while I'm there. I'm pretty focused. But afterwards, it's a great feeling. It's definitely a rush. When you hit that last note and it's thank you very much, good night, that's when it all hits me. Then I'm like, damn, that was. And I already know if I personally feel like I did good or did you have your good shows, you have your bad shows. Mm-hmm. But it's that's the moment where I I soak it all in.
That's awesome. You guys got merch and stuff for your band? The 50 amp fuse?
No,
Not yet?
Not at this moment yet. We are going into the studio over the next couple of days.
Awesome.
Putting a bunch of hours in to cut a demo that we are going to be shopping around to to whoever needs to be shopped around to, management or venues or whatever. I think we're making a video too, and
Awesome.
so we'll be able to market ourselves, as they say, shop it around. And maybe some casino work. We're not above that, or we're just trying to get out there. But it's no merch yet.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to get the work first, and then we'll see about the merch.
Right. Now, this upcoming show that you guys are going to be doing, is there some? I mean, if you can't answer, it's all right. But is there some kind of outline, or you guys got like some kind of plan, like how many songs you guys gonna be doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're usually like at the chance they'll have a multi-band lineup, you know.
Yep.
This particular show, it's just us and the Rush show. So I'm thinking we might get a little more time. So I think we're looking, hopefully, maybe I'm thinking like an hour on the stage.
That's awesome.
That's good.
You know, 45. Definitely 45. Definitely get 45 minutes. Could be in because there's only two bands, but because there's only two bands, not like 3 or 4 they have to squeeze in. Hopefully, we get an extra 15 minutes, a couple extra songs. We got that. We got definitely an hour at least. We have about 2 hours worth of quality old Stones music.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. Let's shift away a little from the music for a minute. Now, you suffered an injury. It did not take your life, but it took a few body parts.
Yeah, and it, I was pretty sick. Yes.
Yeah, you want to talk to us and the listeners about talk to us about the whole thing, the how, the what, the whole journey that you've been going through.
Okay, well,
The real story, not the bar story.
the underlying, it wasn't a bear. The underlying story is I'm diabetic, and it took my father's life. And it took his, foot, then his leg, and everything, and all that before he died. So now I'm wrestling with it. And a couple of years back, 2 years ago, I was working in a construction site that it had, a den animal and stuff in it, and I got an infection on a blister on my toe, and within about 72 hours, My toes turned black, and had started going up my foot, and I passed out at a friend's house. They took me to the hospital, and for 5 days I was in the hospital getting every antibiotic they could throw at it, and they came to the point and they said, listen, we got to cut your toes off to save your foot.
Damn.
And I was like, whoa. And then I was like, you're gonna die. Fuck it, you got it. Do what you got to do. Do what you got to do.
Right.
So I had. There's a warning. It's gonna get graphic here. So I had my 3 middle toes cut off, and all the flesh from the top of my foot around my ankle, and then a little patch on my inside ankle, just gone. And I was like that for like 2 days, and that was like the most pain. It hurt bad.
Damn.
And then what they did, this is kind of creepy. So I had my big toe and my little toe left, and they popped them out. They sliced them down the inside and like took everything out of them. So they had like 2 flaps of flesh that they folded over. So my foot isn't like a dead stump. It has like this fold over of like flesh on it that acts like toes. It's amazing what they think of. But so that's what. It's a horror show down there. And I had skin grafts where they took all the skin off my leg to cover up all the skin that they took off my foot. And then I was recovering from that. I had appendicitis. And then about a year later, I'd already gone back to work, but the infection came back, and I had to have another surgery where they scooped a whole bunch of flesh out of my foot, the same foot. And then I had like 5 more skin grafts on top of that. It was like dead guy skin.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That kind of creeped me out at first. And
that shit would creep me out too.
But so it took the whole ordeal took about 2 years till we get to about right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's finally like for the first time in 2 years, I can say like I don't have a hole in my foot. I don't have any kind of open surgical wound. So it took about 2 years for this thing to close up. I still don't have any toes,
Right.
But you got your foot. I got my foot, and like if I don't tell you, you can't really tell You know, like I get around the job site, I definitely have a problem with ladders here and there. Like I go to step on a ladder where I think my mind thinks I still have toes, and it just, you know, I just have a floppy shoe, and it like
Folds over.
I miss. Yeah, exactly. But you know, it was through that whole thing, I couldn't work, but I could still play music. So I would, you know, I still had the gigs that I had. I would, you know, I mean, I might have missed a couple of them. My brother kept them going. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about Mccaffrey Brothers gigs.
Yeah.
And I started playing out with like a big surgical boot on, and I would sit in a stool and, you know, still do my thing. And then, you know, I could slowly stand, and now, like I said, first time 2 years, my feet are healed up.
That's awesome. That's probably a good feeling. Finally relief, right?
Yeah. Now I got to go back to work though, and you know, lying around for 2 years took a toll on my body. To definitely,
I'm sure.
You know.
Angela, what do you think? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But I like.
But you made a good decision. I mean,
I still like to tell people it was a bear.
I still think you got to mess with people on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you had mentioned too off mic, there are quite a few good stories or incidences that you could use. You know?
I was out surfing in Australia and a shark bit my foot or something. I don't know.
Right on. What's one thing that you've learned while going through this whole experience?
Dry socks.
Dry socks. Right on.
One thing I've definitely learned is the whole diabetes thing is, you know, if you have this or you're struggling with this, you really got to deal with it because, you know, the alternative is you start losing body parts, you know, and, you know, I don't currently like have any affiliation with any of the local charities or diabetes, but if you have anywhere to get in touch with any of that, you know, do that, you know.
Right on. Now, the loss of your toes, does it affect your balance at all when you're walking, or
not so much when I'm walking, but definitely like when I'm standing still, like if I stand still and I look up, I lose my balance. You know, when I'm walking, not so much. Running, I haven't really been able to really try to run yet. It is in my plan of things to do though, to see if I can do it.
Right on.
Because I used to do it a lot, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it anymore, but I'll try.
Now, what about, does it have any effect when you're doing your thing on stage? Or are you not really?
Yeah, actually, same. So I'm not a guy that uses a lot of pedals, you know, but I do have one or two.
Right.
And I can't stomp. So these pedals have like a stomp switch that you got to click down with your foot. So if I go to click it with my left foot, it doesn't click because my toes just bend up. So I have to do a right-footed click, which I didn't usually do. I usually did do a left. So I had that was one adaptation I had to make. But other than that, you know, I suppose there are times definitely like if I'm into it where I'm like, you know, trying to move around a little bit, I definitely can lose my balance, lean into that, you know. But in walking, because like I said, they put that extra bit of flesh on there. I have pretty good, you know. I can get, you know, I had good balance to begin with.
Right on.
You know, I still climb a ladder. Like I said, I have to be careful of the toe flop thing, but I can still, you know, I still do, you know, climb around buildings and stuff when I'm pulling wires.
Nice. Now, how long did you go without walking?
Okay, so like when the seriousness the seriousness of the toe, that was like let's see, it was a good 6-8 months.
See, that's crazy.
I wasn't even allowed to try to put weight on it because the stump had a seal up, and it had like layers of stitches. Damn. So I couldn't, like, if I put weight on it, it would pop open, you know. So but it was a good 6 months before I even got the clearance to try to put weight on it.
And what was the size difference in your legs at that time?
Oh, I used to have, you know, I was a runner. I had, you know, I ran and I swam. I had, you know, my legs were, you know, I had muscular legs, and now not so much. they're gone. They're gone, and they ain't coming back either because I don't have the ability.
So were you able to use the other leg like on crutches, or you had to?
Yeah. I had one of them scooters, them knee scooters. I was flying around the parking lots on that thing. And but
those are fun.
Yeah, but well, it sucks having to be on one, but I could get around pretty good with that. I had a basket, Bill. It was good.
There were times though too, right? Where when you were finally cleared and able to start walking,
it was painful.
Painful.
It was very painful. Getting to the point where I could walk around with like a walker or a cane.
Yep.
I still used a scooter because it was just, easier to get. I could actually like get into a car. Like luckily, this is my left foot, so I still have all the toes on my right foot, and I can drive. Mm-hmm. So I would sit in the car. I'd set myself into the car, and I'd fold the scooter up, and I'd like shift it across me, and I'd but I could get like I had to go to all these hospital. I went into this hyperbaric chamber thing. Mm-hmm. That was pretty cool, actually. It's like a big 6-foot tube. It's about 3 feet across, and it's like 1 inch thick Lexan, and it has a steel cap at either end, and one end's a door, and they slide you in this thing, and it's 2 atmospheres, so it's double. Like the Earth is like 14 point something pounds per square inch. Well, this is like 28, so like 30 pounds per square inch, and instead of air, it's pure oxygen. Sure. So it's supposed to like promote healing, and it did work. It did definitely. But I had, for every day for like 3 months, I had to go sit in this tube
for how long?
For like 3 hours.
At a clip.
At a clip, yeah. Sit there and watch TV.
Damn.
You can't bring a book in or anything with you because it's such a pure oxygen atmosphere. The slightest like static electricity spark, it's going to explode. Remember Deadpool? How he became all burned up when he was in that same thing, that thing. It's so much oxygen. One little spark. So they put this strap around you and like ground you, so you can't make a spark. And you have to like you don't wear anything of your own. You wear this like static proof smock, and it's so you sit there. Damn. And they have a TV. Each tube has a TV, and they just.
And how often did you do that?
Every day.
3 hours a day.
3 hours a day. Yeah. To make all like the skin grafts take and everything like that.
You don't suffer from claustrophobia.
No, not at all. No. Not at all. Through my career, like in my day job, I'm an electrician, and I've been in some tight spaces, and it doesn't. I've been doing it all my life. So
could you sleep in that time?
I did, but it was not very. It was just enough room, just not enough room to be comfortable. It was because it's like it's. And it's not claustrophobic because it's 100% see-through. It's Lexan. It's clear, like it's like bulletproof bang, but it's glass, it's just in a tube.
Cool.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. That's pretty wild. The shit they do.
Yeah,
it was a long road. It's a long road, but I'm back working both jobs. Back playing, back working.
I was going to say the road to recovery is long, but you made it. So, and it must feel good. Yeah. Like you said, to be back at actually being able to, do your thing, live life, and get back to being you.
Rock and roll, man.
My man. But, we're going to be wrapping it up soon, but, any last words of wisdom you want to leave to the world, Brian?
Yeah, I got a few things. 1, if you got diabetes, take care of it. Mm-hmm. 2, like the Mccaffrey Brothers on Facebook, and you can reach me, Brian Mccaffrey, on Facebook. Upcoming shows, I got March 3rd at Monkey McGee's. That's the Mccaffrey Brothers. I got March 16th at Juan Murphy's in Poughkeepsie. That's the Mccaffrey Brothers. And these 2 shows might have a little bit of the Mccaffrey Brothers band going for them. And then I got the first Friday in April at Monkey McGee's, and then we got Hippie Christmas at Juan Murphy's.
Hippie Christmas.
That's April 20th.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. It's gonna be a good time. I'm gonna brush up on all my marijuana reference songs, and there's a lot of them.
Man, there is a lot of
Smoke
them.
the joints in the morning.
Yeah.
There's a
Smoke the
lot.
joints at night.
All right, so there's your plugs. There's the shout outs. I mean, Angela, any last questions? Anything for Brian?
No, I very brave. I think you're very. I don't know if I can do that. Everything. I mean, I guess I could, but
there was no choice.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the alternative was, or you just sit there and you let the infection crawl up your leg until So
I guess I should say I don't think I would be in as good spirits as you are.
I'm a go with the flow guy. I always have been, and so once it came to that point where it's like this is happening, it's like all right, don't sit there and bitch about it. It is what it is. In the case of it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I should have asked maybe real quick then. When you were faced with that decision, I mean, like you mentioned, you really had no choice. It was, but
I was sick as a dog at that time too.
Mm-hmm.
I was fever. I was in the hospital at that
From
point
the infection.
From the infection, yeah. And it wasn't really like they gave me a choice. Like this is what's happening. They're like, this is what's happening.
What about your do you have a good support system?
I got a great family, and I had really good, I had good friends who looked after me. A couple of dear friends who really took me in after I got out of the hospital and let me stay with her for a little while. And then, but
good.
I had good support.
A lot of people don't have that, so.
Absolutely, shout out to the support system. It definitely.
My mom.
Yeah, it definitely helps for sure. But Brian, thanks again for agreeing to come on. It's all relative.
Pleasure.
My man, pleasure. Appreciate you. Angela, anything you want to plug or shout out?
Just my kids.
Okay, right on.
Them.
No doubt. So, Brian, you had mentioned real quick, Chance, 50 amp fuse. Get tickets. What was the date again, real quick?
May 13th,
May
Saturday.
13th, Saturday. Get tickets.
13th. It's a Saturday.
Go see a show. Yeah.
I have Saturdays off.
Get you some tickets. I get you some tickets.
Right on. Brian, what are your social media accounts in case fans want to get at you?
I'm Brian Mccaffrey on Facebook and the Mccaffrey Brothers on Facebook.
Awesome. Angela, your social media?
RandomMan78 on Instagram.
And you guys can always find me at Josh_Toth3. That's my Instagram. And my Facebook is Joshua Toth. Big shout out to Stellar Sound and Media and our editor, Jackson Wallace. Quick reminder, if you've enjoyed what you've heard, please subscribe to the show. That way you'll never miss an episode when they drop. And you can subscribe and follow It's All Relative on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, YouTube, and Google. Also, if you're using Apple Podcasts to listen to the show, please leave a review and a rating. That 10 seconds of your time helps the show out greatly, so please leave them. All right, that's a wrap. Brian, thanks again. Angela, thank you. All right, everyone.
Thanks for having me.
Always. All right, everyone. Stay safe, stay kind, stay proud and powerful, and we'll see everyone soon. Peace.